What is this is Dunkman 42 from the Highly Inappropriate Podcast, and this is week 8 of Dunkman's Blue Collar DFS. We premiered the show last week, and it came off as I got a lot of feedback, a lot of people listened, a lot of people made some lineups with what I was trying to say, and we had some people win some money, and we decided to go ahead and keep this thing rolling into week 8. What I give you is lineup advice for the person that's not playing too many big tournaments. You know what I mean? We're not putting 200 lineups in. We're $5 to $20 worth of lineups, maybe 2 or 3, and we want to get the most bang for our buck. I can't stress enough with the stuff that I'm trying to give to you guys is for tournaments and 50-50s. I'm giving you a lot of high floors. That way you're going to cash in those and double up money. If you like one of the lineups that I give, maybe you throw something out there that wants to be a little different than everybody else, then go ahead and throw one into the $3, or the $20 millionaire, whatever you want to do. But remember, like the 50-50s and the small tournaments are where you're going to make your cash in your bank when you're a low roll player. But also, FanDuel, what I do is DraftKings prices and everything. So I've had some people ask about FanDuel. I know the prices are different and kind of vary between the two. If I got some FanDuel people out there, next week I could do a show for FanDuel too, because like I said, the prices will vary between the two. So just kind of let me know, maybe shoot me a text, Twitter, whatever, and we'll see what we can do. But we'll go ahead and jump right into it, as my co-host on Highly Inappropriate says, Matt. We'll jump right into it with the over-unders this week. This is what I like to look at, like I always stress. And your over-unders this week, the highest over-under on the slate is your Seattle -6.5 versus Atlanta. That's a 53-point over-under. Oakland versus Houston. Houston's -6.5. That's a 51.5 over-under. The New York Giants versus the Detroit Lions. The Lions are -6.5. That's a 49-point over-under. And Arizona, New Orleans. That's New Orleans -10. That's a 48-point over/under. So those are the 4 games that are up, towards the top, as Vegas would say, total points in the game. And we all know Vegas is usually pretty spot on when it comes to their predictions and when it comes to that sort of thing. So we'll jump right into the quarterback position. Right there at the top, Russell Wilson, $7,200. It's the highest over-under on the slate against Atlanta. Atlanta's they're looking pretty rough on the defensive end. Russell Wilson, he's just, like I said last week, his legs in those tournaments and stuff, makes his floor so high because he can get points in so many different ways. Russell Wilson, he's going to be a great play this week. As is right below him, Deshaun Watson at $7,100. Those are kind of your 2 top-tier quarterbacks if you're making lineups. Both of them are looking phenomenal this week. Like the Deshaun Watson's in that Oakland-Houston game, which is the second highest over-under at 51.5. Both of them guys are phenomenal picks. If you can't really get up that high and you're looking for below that, the Kyler Murray at $6,200. He's in that 48-point over-under. They got New Orleans favored at -10. So what's that tell me? New Orleans -10. It tells me that they're probably going to have a lead, and he could be throwing the ball a lot. When your team's playing from behind, you're going to have to chuck that rock. You can't really depend on that run game. So that means fantasy point-wise, Kyler Murray, that could be huge for him. At $6,100, we had the guy that I like a lot this week is Matt Stafford. He's at home against the New York Giants. I can't say too much about the New York Giants. That's another defense that's not looking too good. Kind of looks like Detroit's getting rolling right now. Marvin Jones had a phenomenal week last week. That was unbelievable. 3 touchdowns in the first half. That offense is starting to kick. Kerryon Johnson going down kind of hurts. But we'll get to that later when I get into running backs. But I just expect Stafford, especially for that price at $6,100. That's going to be killer. Him and Kyler Murray, you could go back and forth between the two. I like them both. And if you're looking to maybe go, just a throw in the dark, somebody I don't think a lot of people are going to play, but at $4,700, Matt Schaub in Atlanta. I mean, it is what it is. Matt Ryan is not going to be playing, it looks like, and it looks like Matt Schaub's going to be stepping in. With them at the highest over-under at the 53 point against Seattle. They're at home in a dome. Oh, man, Seattle's favored. I mean, they could get a lead, and Matt Schaub could throw the rock. I mean, he's going to be throwing the ball a lot if they're behind. And at 4,700, that's a low price for a quarterback. And if he somehow throws a couple touchdowns and gets 300 yards, you're going to be looking really good. I have a lineup with him in it. I've made 3 so far this week. I have one with him, and it's like a throw-in-the-dark lineup. And I used it just so I could get to maybe higher running backs or higher receivers, you know what I mean? Like get to other people, which I like to stress the running back position, as you know. And I got a Stafford lineup and a Kyler Murray lineup. So those are my 3 that I have in my lineups this week. But you guys can do you. Those are all valuable options. But we're going to go into running back now. Running back, like I said, is the main position. You got to have production at the running back position or you are not going to cash even in the 50-50s. You have to hit this running back position. And right there at the top, on my list, I mean, I know Christian McCaffrey's on there. He's like 9,100 or something like that. But if I'm going to go up that high, I'm just going to play Saquon Barkley at the 8,900. And he's in a 60. Oh, wait, hold on. Excuse me. He's in the Giants. He's got the Giants at home in that 49 point over under. It's like the 3rd highest on the slate. They got Detroit favored. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt Barkley with the production because he also can catch out of the backfield. He can do it all. I mean, he's a phenomenal running back. I mean, anytime you play him, you're going to get production. I know it's a lot that you're going to be paying for him, but like I said, if you throw Schaub in at your quarterback position, you're going to be able to spend a lot of money other places and kind of boost that lineup, you know what I mean, and just hope for Schaub to have some production to kind of keep you in it. But right below him is Leonard Fournette at 7,800. He's not on my over-unders or anything like that. But like I said last week, his touches, he's getting 25, 30 touches a game. That's phenomenal. He was 7,000 last week, and they bumped him up to 7,800. So I don't have him in as much as I did last week at 7,000. But he's still going to be a good play, especially if he can get into the end zone. Below that, I have Todd Gurley at 7,400, and that's my lock this week. I love me some Todd Gurley this week. They're going to fly over to London this week and go against the Bengals, who we all know, like I said last week, are absolutely horrible. They have a decent D-line, but I don't care. Gurley, I've been waiting for it all year, and I think this is actually going to be the week that he just blows up and goes off. They're favored they're minus 12.5, so they're a big-time favorite. I just feel like he's going to get it going. Gurley's my lock. He's in all my lineups this week. I feel like the floor is going to be high enough that he's going to be a valuable play. Below that is Chris Carson at minus 6.5 in that game, and he's 7,000. He's what Leonard Fournette was last week. So what I was saying about Fournette last week at 7,000, I'm kind of doing the same thing with Chris Carson this week. They're favored at 6.5. That over-under is the highest on the day at 53. They're going to have the lead, I think. They're going to depend on that run to try to end that game. I love me some Chris Carson this week. Below him, which is kind of jumping down to the mid-tier, lower-level stuff, those are kind of the 4 upper guys that I kind of like. I want at least 2 of those in every lineup. And kind of lower, a little lower than that. These are all like kind of flex plays you could possibly go to. Josh Jacobs, like I said, touches galore. The same kind of thing with Fournette at 5,800. He's in the 2nd highest over/under at 51.5 against Houston. The touches that he gets makes his floor so high. So I mean, he could be a good play at any time. And at any time, he could get a couple touchdowns, and then he's one of the top running backs on the day with those touches. Below that, I have 2 guys, and you can almost flip a coin. I don't have any lineups with them, but I guarantee you that something's going to come out of these guys, and that is Sonny Michel at 5,200 and James White at 5,100. The Patriots are a minus 10.5 favorite this week against Cleveland. I like one of them's going to go off. If I had to pick one, I kind of like James White because I kind of see maybe a kind of I don't know. It just depends on what Baker Mayfield shows up. I mean, if he shows up and puts up some points, then they're going to force the Patriots to kind of not lean on the run game as much and maybe force Brady to kind of throw the ball around a little bit, which that benefits James White. And in a PPR format on DraftKings, which means points per reception, that could be really big for him. He could also be a good flex play. Below, right there, though I guess a little above that, Latavius Murray at 5,800 there for the Saints. This is if Kamara don't play, which I'm not sure. I don't think he's playing. The Saints are a -10 favorite, like I said, and the fourth highest over/under at 48, and he's only 5,800. Latavius Murray, that could be a good play too. He had a good week last week when he had to fill in for that. So if he's getting the touches, that's a valuable option there at the 5,800. The mid-tier pricing. And the last guy I want to say is Ty Johnson, who is, like I spoke about earlier, Kerryon Johnson for the Lions went down on the IR. He's going to be the guy stepping in and filling in. He's $4,900. I mean, that's a great flex play option this week. They got a 49-point over/under against the Giants. That's the third highest on the day. Detroit's a 6.5-point favorite, which only means that they could get a lead and depend on that run. And for $4,900, the volume that he's going to get, that could be an absolute steal. So that's pretty much where I'm at with running back. Like I said, I like the top four: Barkley, Fournette, Gurley, Carson. I want two of them in my running back spots, and at the flex position, I'm going to play, some of the lower guys I said, the Josh Jacobs, the Latavius Murray, the Ty Johnsons, the Sonny Michel, the James Whites. I'm going to kind of play around with that flex spot down there with those guys. Going over to the wide receiver position, there at the top is Hopkins at 8,100. He's pricey, but I love him this week. I absolutely love him this week against Oakland. They've got the second highest over/under at 51.5. They're at home. I like it a lot. Also, with DeAndre Hopkins, you have Kenny Stills, both of those receivers. Kenny Stills is 4,700. I have him in almost every lineup. He's going to get a lot more looks with Fuller going down. Fuller's hurt. So, Kenny Stills. You also have Cootie. I'm not sure what his price is on that, but I don't have him on my list. But Kenny Stills is in every lineup that I've made at 4,700. He's kind of the guy that can give you a low price at receiver so you can play those high running backs that you need to play to get that floor and get those points and cash in these 50-50 tournaments and these little 100-people tournaments, getting the money with that. So Kenny Stills is going to get some looks at 4,700, and I want me some Kenny Stills this week. Below that, we have Julio Jones at 7,700 and Ridley at 5,600. These guys are also in a high over-under. I know I said that Matt Ryan is out and Schaub is in. If you somehow play one of these with Schaub and he ends up throwing the ball and you get some points, I guarantee you that there is hardly anybody else is going to do that. And if you're alone at the top with a guy that does that in Matt Schaub and he's less than 5% owned, you're going to cash. You're going to win. You're winning money. Hands down, you're going to win money. Below that, we have Galloway and Marvin Jones Jr. I love them both. Jones had a monster week last week. Galloway's having a great season. I love me some Matt Stafford this week. Like I said, he's my favorite quarterback on the slate this week. So, of course, I'm going to like these two guys. It's kind of a coin flip. You just got to get lucky and pick the right one if you're asking me. Below that, I got two more people I like that are in a lot of lineups, either one of these guys. Larry Fitzgerald at 5,400 and Christian Kirk at 4,700. Keep an eye on Kirk, though. He's a game-time decision, so you kind of want to watch that. If he's not playing, you want to be able to pivot in and out on this guy so you can get him out and get somebody else in. But I like both of those guys. That's another high over-under. Like I said, they got the Saints favored by 10. They're going to be passing the ball. I have actually Christian Kirk in my Kyler Murray lineup. Kind of a quarterback receiver combo there. I just feel like there's going to be points scored in that game, and I don't want me a piece of it. Below that, you have Tyler Lockett at 7,000 and Metcalf at 5,000. You can pair them with Russell Wilson. That's in that 53-point over-under against Atlanta, which is the highest on the day. A piece of them could go a long way. Metcalf at 5,000. That's another guy you can sneak in there. He catches a bomb. You have your running backs. You have your quarterback in the right spot. You're cashing money. Easy. I mean, he's the sneaky guy that you can throw in at the receiver spot for the 5,000, along with Christian Kirk too. Like I said, at 47. Below them, I don't have these guys on the over-under, but Cooper Kupp at 75, Woods at 63, and Cooks at 5,700. They're going against that, like I said, horrible Cincinnati secondary. One of them is going to get theirs. One of them guys right there is going to get theirs. It's probably going to be Cooper Kupp. But at 7,500, I know he's going to be hard to get to. I couldn't get to him in anything, so. But I had to throw it out there because I guarantee you that somebody in that game is going to go off. And like I said, I got Gurley in. He's my lock of the week. That's who I think it's going to be. But there's the receivers that I like for this week. Tight ends, we're going to go right into the tight end position. You have Waller there for Oakland at 5,900 and Hooper at 5,500. Those are kind of the two top guys, if you can get to them two, that you want to get. Both are in high over-unders. Both of them are great plays. If you want the low end, which I like to do with the tight end, you can get Fells there in Houston at 3,400 in that high over-under. But the tight end I'm playing this week, and I have him in almost every lineup, and I think a lot of people are going to too, but he's also my broke ass of the week, is Junior Smith at 2,800. He's the tight end that's filling in for Delaney Walker, who was out this week there in Tennessee. I know it's not on my over-under list, but sometimes you just got to play with your smarts and know where the value is. And at 2,800, I'll take him all day with him in there getting every snap. He's going to end up getting a lot of targets, I think. And like I said, he's my broke ass of the week, and I have him in. He's my tight end in every lineup that I have. And hopefully it works out. Skipping up to defense, I'm playing the Rams at 3,800 versus Cincinnati in every lineup. That's me. They're that big favorite on that game. Like I said, was it the biggest spread on the day at -12.5 against Cincinnati. And I like my defense. I like to kind of combine my running backs with my defense. So how high I feel on Todd Gurley, because I feel like they're going to have the lead and they're going to be running the ball and running that clock out. And if I'm thinking that, on the same aspect of that, I want their defense. You know what I mean? Like, their defense isn't going to be on the field as much if that's what they're playing, if that's what they're doing, and they got the lead. They can create turnovers if you're forcing that pass. You're going to let the pass rush start getting to them. And it's just going to be, I think, the best defense on the day. That's who I want to play at 3,800. There was another one, maybe, like a lower defense that you could possibly throw in there that's getting some turnovers. I mean, you can get the Panthers at 2,400. Yes, they're going against the Niners, but Jimmy G is horrible. That team is undefeated, yes, I know. But I actually think the Panthers are going to get the win this week. I think the Panthers go into San Francisco and win that. If you ask, that's just my opinion. They could easily get a turnover, and somehow you get a pick six or a turnover. We know the defensive thing is just a straight coin flip. Nobody knows. It's the hardest thing to do. That's why I always like to kind of pick one of the top tier guys, just so I get something out of my D. You know what I mean? And that's why, like I said, the Rams at 3,800. They're in every one of my lineups, and that's it for the week. I know I kind of went a little quicker this week than I did last week. Last week I was trying to explain a lot more than I am this week. A lot of people kind of understand what I mean when I'm saying what I'm saying. So if you have any questions or anything you want to shoot at me, or any plays or anything you're kind of thinking about and you just maybe want my opinion, which, I mean, everybody's got one, but Dunkman 42 on Twitter. So go ahead and shoot me a question on there. Follow me, whatever you want to do. Remember to listen to the Highly Inappropriate Podcast live on YouTube Sundays at 7 o'clock. And those that want to listen and can't watch it live, go ahead and subscribe to the Highly Inappropriate Podcast on Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio. Good luck this week. Let's go get some monies. Peace.